Sean here from Fishing and Photography by Sean. Today we're going to talk about hair rig. What is hair rig? Why do you use it? How to make it? What are the components of it? Everything from A to Z, I guess. Uh, I used to watch YouTube videos a lot for hair rig. So what happens is, a lot of time people what they do is they basically put the corn on the hook directly. Just put one at a time, just put the hook through the cornel, and then put one, load him up and then just cast it out. You do catch carp with that. There is nothing wrong with that. It's just that it's not the most effective way of catching carp. I believe up until 70s, that's how everybody was doing it. I guess I'm pretty sure British already probably, British people already had lots of ways to do it, but no hair rig until I believe 70s. I think that's the time when one of the gentlemen over there came up with the idea of hair rig. Now we have to understand, why do you have to have hair rig? Now carps are very smart and very careful fish. They are always careful about what they're eating, and if they feel like something's odd, something's off, something's not right or not natural, they basically run away. They don't touch it anymore. Catfish, on the other hand, they're aggressive. They'll just eat it. Even if they feel like there is some sort of metal, the hook, or whatever that's not supposed to be there or something, they'll go for it. But carps are not that. They will not touch it. So the problem with the loading this hook up with the corn is that there is a chance that it's going to feel there is a metal among the corn. Some at one point or another they'll probably touch it with their lips. And one of the thing is that the design of the carp, their lips are way outside, their mouth is way deep inside. So with their outer lip, they'll basically, this a rubber lip, what they do is they'll basically try to fill it up, like, what am I touching? They're not even eating it, they're just feeling it. And once they do realize there's nothing wrong with that, it's normal, it's natural, they'll put it in the mouth and then they'll inhale it. But if you have it on the hook, the odds are, if they feel like there's something odd about it, they'll just basically swim off, they don't touch it. So the British guy in 70s, he came up with the idea, what if you don't put the corn or boilies or whatever else you use, what if you don't put it on the hook, but somehow next to the hook, so when the fish comes in, they only touch that stuff, but there is no metal part. And that's how the hair rig, that's how it was born. So if you can see it, this is the hair rig. This is what you call hair rig. So what happens is, this is kind of like a sticking out part. It kind of look like a hair. That's probably what, idea of calling it hair rig. And what you do is basically you put the corn on this thread. You do nothing with your hook. Your hook is totally left out. You don't do anything about it. What you do is you put your corn on this little piece of string right here, and once you do that, when the carp comes in, what they do is they'll basically try to fill it up. They'll try to pick it up, and they're not going to realize that there is anything wrong with it, because there isn't, obviously. The hook is not even close to it. Hook is somewhere there. So what happens is they suck it in, and once that goes in, the hook goes in, obviously, because they're all together, right? So because of that, by the time carp realize that there's something wrong, it's too late, because the hook is already in their mouth. And that's how the hair rig was born, and overnight it became so popular that nowadays any people who have minimum ideas about carp fishing usually go for a hair rig. I don't think there are millions of hair rigs, by the way, just so you know. There are snowman rig, there are blowback, there is J rig, there is zig rig, I believe also. No, I don't think zig rig is part of the hair rig. I'm not sure about zig rig. But anyway, the idea is that there are like millions of different ways of doing hair rig. I'm going to talk about today the most basic, most simple hair rig. I'm going to make this video in two parts. In the first part, I'm going to talk about all the ingredients, all the components that you need to make a basic hair rig. And then in the second video, I'm going to actually make the a hair rig and show it to you, like how to make it. And again, like I said, whatever I show you, they're not going to be the only. There are like millions of other ways to do it. And if you go to British websites or carp fishing websites, you're gonna see all these different fancy rigs and all that. But since I'm always about simple, going easy, I don't do too many fancy things. So I'm going to show you some of the basic components of a hair rig, and then you can basically try to understand that what are the most basic things you need for carp fishing. Now, some of the terms I had to go through, like Google, YouTube, like what are you talking about? Bait stop. What is a bait stop? Or a baiting needle? I mean, why would you need a baiting needle? And everything. I mean, I had to go through a whole lot of stuff because nobody in their videos explained to you all the details. And for me, that was important because I was missing out all these little things here and there, so I couldn't put the whole thing together. So finally, I just want to make sure that once I make my video, I don't want anybody else to feel that way. So I'll explain to you everything, or at least the most basic ones. So for hair rig, obviously first you need hooks. I use store-bought Walmart or Dick's hooks, regular basic hooks. I also use hooks from bigcarptackle.com or a couple other carp fishing websites. They have special hooks. I believe they're called D hooks. They kind of look like the letter D. Excuse me. So you're gonna need hooks, whether it's online, store-bought or whatever, or Walmart, whatever. But I do catch fish with regular hooks. I don't have to use hooks like fancy hooks all the time. So you need hooks. Obviously, you're gonna need some line. Let's see. You're going to need this. I mean, you don't have to, but this helps. I believe this is called anti-tangle sleeve. Basically, what happens is, because this is a braided line, most of the carp fishing rigs are made of braided lines. That doesn't mean you cannot use mono. If you have mono, go for it, nothing wrong with that. But the idea is, because this is braided line, once you cast it out, what this thing do right here, because this is the part where I connect to my leader line. So what happens is, this part kind of make it a strong line, a straight line. Instead of having it all tangled up like that, it basically kind of forces the rest of the part to kind of push out. So instead of having it the whole thing all together like this, this thing kind of helps you after you cast it out. It kind of looks like this. So it's easier for the fish to catch it, and it's not tangly, messy thing going on once you cast it out. So if you don't have it, nothing wrong with that. I mean, it just helps. So this is called anti-tangle sleeve. After you make your rig, you just put it on. I believe you can buy like for 10 or 20 a pack for like $5-6. Nothing, not too expensive. There is another thing you need, and that calls rig ring. These things right here. I don't know if you can see it. These things right here. These are called rig rings. And what it does is, let me explain to you. You see how on this hook or rig, the line comes straight from the bottom, right? But if you notice on this one, whoops, it fell. But on this one, as you can see, it doesn't start from here. There is a little thing right here that makes it kind of like this. And the reason being, I have a rig ring here, and it makes it so that it doesn't start from here, it starts from there. I made it that way, and I realized that, I mean, I did catch a lot of fish with this, regular ones, but once I started using these rig rings, uh, my fishing rate went up really high, and it helps me a lot. I think this is easier for fish to get hooked on, because it starts right from in the middle of the hook instead of from the center or the bottom. So because of that, it goes in easier in the fish mouth, I think. I'm not sure, but whatever it is, it helps me. So, by the way, this is a plastic fake corn, and this is buoyant. It floats. So what I did was I took super glue, and I took a little split shot, and I basically glued it on. I don't know if you can see it there. So I made a little bit weight. So now it basically sinks, and I caught a lot of fish on this as well. Oh, then you also need bait stops. What is a bait stop? Once you put on this plastic corn or real corn or whatever, sweet corn, once you put it on this thread, if you have a little loop at the top. What you do is basically after you put on the corns, you have to have something through the loop like this, and this is what you call bait stop. What it does is it basically sticks in there, it stays in there, and it helps so that none of the corn can get out of the way. And that's what this does. I don't know if I have one. Hang on, let me see if I have one that I can show you clearly what I mean. Here we go. There is one on this red one, on the red plastic corn. Do you see it? That's the bait stop. So it stops from corn to escape from the hair. All right. So those basically it. I do have some plastic bread that basically just looks like a piece of bread, but obviously plastic. I use it in the summertime when the fish are on the surface. I basically put my hook through it and cast it out without any weight whatsoever, so it floats, and fish basically thinks there is a piece of bread floating. I do throw out some real bread so that they don't realize this is fake, and then basically take it in, and it's a really nice nice bait. So I hope you like this video, and please watch my second videos. I'm gonna put my link for my second video in the comment section, so you can just, after you watch this video, you can go to the second one, and you can watch how to make this hair ring. Thank you for watching, and I hope you like this, and please like and subscribe to my channel. Alright, thank you.